You people only care about oppression when it's socially fashionable. Disabled people are treated like disposable machinery. If we can't produce enough, smile enough, obey enough, or fit your ideological purity test enough, suddenly our suffering becomes negotiable. The same people screaming about empathy casually use ableist slurs every day. Crazy, schizo, autistic, NPC, bot, retarded, then pretend ableism barely exists. The left and right both normalize it. One side moralizes productivity. The other side performs compassion while treating disabled people like ideological liabilities the second we become inconvenient. You support accessibility until disabled people use tools you politically dislike out of emotion. You support mental health until mentally ill people become angry instead of inspirational. You support equality until disabled people point out the system is fundamentally broken. Then suddenly, we're toxic, bad faith, dangerous, too negative, not trying hard enough. Society constantly talks about inclusion while disabled people are among the poorest, most isolated, unemployed, medically neglected, and suicidal groups on Earth. People assume disability support is easy to get. Meanwhile, countless disabled people spend years being denied benefits, treatment, housing, denied recognition, denied dignity. You don't look disabled. Everyone struggles. Just work harder. Get over it. Stop complaining. That's what passes as compassion. Disabled people are expected to survive impossible conditions while being morally judged by people with health care, support systems, relationships, stability, transportation, social acceptance, and safety nets they've never had to fight for. Then those same people lecture us about ethics while funding industries destroying the planet at a scale magnitudes beyond disabled people using accessibility tools to survive. You don't hate suffering. You hate being confronted with contradictions. You hate being reminded that society still measures human worth through productivity, usefulness, appearance, emotional convenience, and ideological compliance. The second disabled people stop being motivational props and start expressing rage, society abandons them instantly. People only love disabled people when we are quiet, grateful, harmless, educational, non threatening, and inspirational enough to consume. The moment we become angry about abandonment, neglect, abuse, poverty, isolation, medical denial, or systemic hypocrisy, suddenly our suffering becomes debatable. Disabled men, especially, are treated like failed machines. If we cannot produce enough, we become socially invisible, disposable, unwanted, and inconvenience to everyone around us. Then society acts shocked when suicide rates explode and isolated disabled people mentally collapse under decades of abandonment. Human rights are conditional. Compassion is conditional. Empathy is conditional. And disabled people learn that earlier than anyone. We learn it by watching people with everything in the world collapse over inconveniences we would kill just to experience once. People with families complaining about awkward dinners, while some of us spend years completely isolated. People with healthcare telling us to just get help, while we spend decades being denied treatment, disability, stability, medication, recognition, and support. People with options telling people with none that failure is a mindset. People who can work, socialize, drive, date, leave their houses, function consistently, recover from burnout, energy, support systems, and have safety nets. Lecturing people who are barely surviving. You call us lazy because you cannot comprehend what it means to push a boulder uphill while society itself keeps rolling it back down and blaming you for gravity. Then those same people turn around and call themselves progressive, compassionate, humanist. Real suffering gets algorithmically buried because suffering that cannot be pretty makes people uncomfortable. The internet rewards people complaining about boredom, dating drama, awkward social situations, and existential emptiness, while disabled people rot in poverty, isolation, untreated illness, and social abandonment completely invisible to society. Then we get told it's your fault. You didn't try hard enough. You need a better attitude. Everyone struggles. Stop being negative. You cannot lecture people about mindset when they are trapped in systems you have never had to survive or seen. Able privilege is so extreme, most people do not even recognize it as a privilege. Having energy is a privilege. Mobility is a privilege. Functioning body is a privilege. Support network is a privilege. Socially accepted is a privilege. Employable is a privilege. Believed is a privilege. Able to recover is a privilege. Access to help at all is a privilege. People say just get help because they fundamentally assume help exists. That alone exposes how disconnected they are from reality. For many disabled people, help is not delayed. It is not imperfect. It is not difficult. It simply does not exist. And when disabled people finally break under years of neglect, isolation, medical abandonment, financial collapse, and psychological exhaustion, society mocks the system of suffering it helped create, then calls us crazy, broken, insane, bots, retards, schizos, failures, burdens. You created a society where disabled people are expected to survive impossible conditions with no support while being morally judged by people who have never experienced systemic abandonment for even a fraction of their lives. What's worse is disabled people that have disability, support, insurance, and just a few conditions dictate what people who suffer way worse do or don't need because they have options you don't. Then wonder why you are angry. I do more for climate change on food stamps than performative leftists who want to talk about climate change. You don't care. Only 4% of the people worldwide are doing their part. Meanwhile, anti AI is threatened by disabled people using AI to survive. Even AI is more human at this point.